I am Tina from tinahills.com, and today I have for you a very special live show where I will be discussing the Nakshatra Purva Phalguni ruled by Bhaga, and it is the 11th Nakshatra. It's a very precious nakshatra, and I, for one, have my Venus and my ascendant in this nakshatra. So, this is an energy I'm quite familiar with. And this, of course, is in sidereal Leo, 1320 to 2640 sidereal Leo. So, it's a very leonine, fiery energy to begin with. And of course, Purva Phalguni has its very unique and distinctive characteristics that I will break down for you today. Now, before I begin, of course, we shall take the name of Uchishta Ganpati, who gives us the ultimate knowledge of astrology. And my cats are at it again. Shh, 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 Nibbler, get up, come here. And they are at it again. So we are going to begin with Uchishta Ganpati, who gives ultimate knowledge of astrology. And there again, just go away. So his mantra is Hasti Pisashi Likhe Swaha. Hasti Pisashi Likhe Swaha. Hasti Pisashi Likhe Swaha. Okay. Now we begin discussing Purva Phalguni. For those of you who want to learn pronunciations, especially if you're doing Vedic astrology, enunciating correctly, it's really, really important because, Sanskrit words are matrika. The alphabets are matrika. They are the goddesses themselves. So you must enunciate correctly to truly understand and glean from this ancient Vedic wisdom. So this is, as I said, the 11th nakshatra, right? The 11th nakshatra is ruled by Bhaga, right? By Bhaga. And if you look at Bhaga, Bhaga is of course Bhagawan, but it's also Bhagya, all right? Bhagya. Bhagya is luck in Sanskrit. So obviously you understand that Purva Phalguni has something to do with luck. Yes. Now, Bhagya is where destiny, luck, all of these good words originate from. Okay. Now, Purva Phalguni natives are quite lucky throughout their lives and very auspicious. There's something about them that is very auspicious. Thank you. Very auspicious. Something about Purva Phalguni natives. Okay. And the Vedas, they refer to Bhaga and Aryaman. Aryaman we'll get to because Aryaman is the ruler of Uttara Phalguni. We are still in Purva Phalguni. We will get to Uttara Phalguni very soon, right? So we have Bhaga who rules Purva Phalguni, and we have Aryaman that rules Uttara Phalguni, right? And whom the Vedas call Bhaga and Aryaman as whom they protect are victorious over their adversities, right? Now, 1320 to 2640 of sidereal Leo. Clear? Now, Bhaga desired, may I partake of the best portion of the gods. One who makes appropriate offerings to Bhaga and to Purva Phalguni gains the best portion amongst his peers. Om Bhagaya Namaha. Om Bhagaya Namaha. Okay, is his mantra. Those Purva Phalguni natives looking to invoke Bhaga, Om Bhagaya Namaha. Om Bhagaya Namaha. Right? Purva Phalguni is known as the star of fortune to the Westerners, especially because every star is broken down to explain the idea, okay, underlying idea. So this is the star of fortune. Beautiful. The Bhaga Daivata star, okay, hello. good morning, wherever you are. I'm sure it's good morning for you. It's almost good evening. It's good evening. It's almost sunset for me. It is the Bhaga Daivata star. Bhaga Daivata star. That means it is the star that gives us fortune. Yeah, it is the star of fortune. Remember that. Now, it literally, what does Purva Phalguni mean? It means the former reddish one. The color is, of course, red, Purva Phalguni. That's why I am in all red. The nakshatra, this nakshatra is the marriage mansion, right? So, when we see, just check, just type Kritika Nakshatra on my channel and you shall get it. Okay. Now, Rohini is a nakshatra which I've already done. So please check Rohini. Rohini begins the whole attraction and passion, right? Rohini begins it. Rohini is the most favorite wife of Soma or the moon, right? And Purva Phalguni is the culmination in marriage. So we have Rohini beginning this amorous intent, this passion within, the warmth in our loins, all of this is begun by Rohini, and this reaches its settlement, or it's some sort of culmination in Purva Phalguni, where we want to get married, okay, where we want to settle down, where we want to take a vow to spend the rest of our lives with somebody, right? Now, Bhaga gives and protects marital happiness, right? And gives Bhagya or luck, which usually brings family inheritance. So, clear, Bhaga is Bhagya, from where Bhagya comes. Bhaga gives and protects marital happiness, right? So if your marriage is going through some problems, then it'll be very good for you to invoke a Purva Phalguni, especially when the moon transits through Purva Phalguni. You can check that in any Panchang or ephemeris, Vedic ephemeris. So you can check that out in any Panchang, okay? So, any kind of marital discord, or you're not getting married, okay, all this magical work can be done under the moon in Purva Phalguni, okay. Now Lord Shiva, none other than Lord Shiva, began his own marriage procession under this nakshatra. So it's really auspicious. The culmination of Shiva Shakti, the whole affair began under this nakshatra, right? Shakti of this particular nakshatra, I told you every nakshatra has its own Shakti. This nakshatra has Prajanana Shakti, okay? Prajanana Shakti brings out the creation of fetus after sexual union. So of course, Prajanana Shakti, after the sexual act, we have the coming of a new life, which is a fetus. So this is the Shakti of this nakshatra, Prajanana Shakti. Prajanana Shakti, okay? Prajanana Shakti actually. Okay, Phal. What is Phal? Phal means fruit. Purva Phalguni, so the word Phal is there. So Phal means fruit. And Guni refers to guna or qualities. Okay. Now, Purva Phalguni brings forth the energy of relaxation, amusement, right? In short, this nakshatra is about leisure. Now we know that Leo understands leisure, right? And Purva Phalguni takes that energy and really recreates this aura, this vibe of relaxation, of leisure, of contemplation, Bhaga is one of the 12 Adityas. okay, sons of Aditi, the solar Adityas. And he is deeply connected to leisurely activities, right? Now, it's very important to understand this. As a culture, we look down upon leisure. But if we don't get leisure right, we will not get work right. Please contemplate what I'm saying because it's really important, even if you're not a Purva Phalguni native. Now, there's a very interesting essay that I read, Joseph Piper's, yeah, like the Piper of Hamlin. He wrote his essay, his essay is called Leisure, the Basis of Culture, okay? And Joseph, he argues that the key to the moral and spiritual crisis of modern society is refusal to receive, to accept a gift. Now, of course, he's not supporting hedonism. Let's get that clear. He's not supporting hedonism or, mindless waste of time. No one is unlucky, my dear. Ashlesha has so much to offer. Please watch my video on Ashlesha. Now, Joseph, he's not talking about pointless hedonism. He is talking about leisure, okay, without which we tend to have a sort of a cultural, moral, spiritual crisis that is very, very visible in modern society today. Now, he maintains the strange propensity towards hardship that is engraved into the face of our contemporaries as a distinct expectation of suffering. So, we as a culture, we expect to work hard, we expect to toil, endlessly. We expect to, go that extra mile, that extra kilometer if need be, to get our work done. Otherwise, people will think, oh, this person's lazy, or oh, this person's not working hard enough, right? So this cultural attunement towards slavishness, okay, this is what Joseph is talking about, and this is what Purva Phalguni is about. As a culture, sadly, we have lost the ability to receive gifts. And this is a sign of pride, okay? The most dangerous of the 7 sins. But yeah, I don't want help from anybody and I don't want a gift. I've got everything. I can do it. I know what to do. Pride, right? So that's dangerous actually. Under Purva Phalguni's influence, we learn to receive. We learn to receive, alright? And this becomes leisure. And this notion of leisure is actually the ground of giving. If you've got like what we speak about universal income, right? And people are like, how can there be universal income? People are just going to get lazy. No one's going to work. Everyone's just going to sit on their asses. No. Once you take the fear, the primal fear of survival, and you take that away, and you replace that with basic sustainability, with basic sustenance, I refuse to believe that we as a society are going to get lazy. No, we will not. For then we get into this mindscape of leisure, and from that mindscape, beautiful ideas are going to be born. Believe me, I don't know whether we will live to see this. Universal income for all on earth, basic sustenance, sustainability. I don't know whether we live to see this. I hope we do. But this is the change. This is the crux of change. Okay? Now, once we receive, I'm getting food, I'm getting shelter, I've got money in my bank. I've got money in my bank, and why won't I give? Why won't I share my resources with others? It makes no sense. For when we receive, can we truly give? Understand this. Mark my words. For when we receive, can we truly give? Hi, right? That is the key to this. Key to our survival, our cultural survival, our spiritual survival, our moralistic survival. Now, once you receive, only then can you give authentically. Right? Today I'm hungry. Right? You come and give me some food. And I ate and I eat and I eat and I'm full. And there's another homeless person. Say I'm homeless. There's another homeless person in front of me. Or there's an animal next to me. I'll share anyway, even if, I'm not full. But if you're full, you will share with that person. You're like, okay, I got this food. Now you take some of it. Right? And I've seen these beautiful memes on Facebook. All these homeless people. You have to, that is a muhurta calculation. So that is not going to be done free. You have to write me an email and you have to pay the cost of muhurta calculation. Alright? Otherwise, if you want to do it yourself, just check any panchang. Okay, because I will check the nakshatra, your nakshatra, and then decide. Otherwise, if you want it for free, go on to any panchang and check it out. Okay. Now, you do not exhaust yourself. You find yourself. When you receive, only then can you give authentically, and you don't lose yourself if you receive. Please. This is what Purva Phalguni teaches us. You don't. I'm sorry, I've got so many emails. I've not even responded to reading emails. Just got a lot on my plate right now. Okay. Yes, you should be doing Naga Devata. You should be doing Naga Devata puja, because the deity of Ashlesha is Naga Devata. So you can just say Om Naga Devatayai Namaha. Okay. Now let's get to the point. I don't want to bifurcate too much, and then people get confused as to what am I talking about. Now let's get this clear. Now, so the point is that when you receive, only then can you give authentically. You don't exhaust yourself. You don't lose yourself in receiving. You actually find yourself, because you're running around helter-skelter trying to, get food on the table, trying to, look after your children. I know I am. And then you don't have a moment to sit and breathe. And suddenly you get a gift from the universe. And you can suddenly breathe. Like, right? And then you find yourself in that moment of, right? You find yourself, and then you get stronger. And then when you get stronger, you give more openly, right? Mark my words. It was with Nietzsche, that the idea of receiving became distorted. Okay, it was not like this always, and we see Western culture sort of dominated the educational landscape, and it was all about colonial education in so many in a country like India as well, where we had people like what was his name, Macaulay. All these guys, they did away with our educational system, the Vedic educational system, and they instilled the colonial educational system. So universities and all were primarily focused on Western culture, unless you're doing like your masters on the Vedas or something like that. The Vedas were not taught in primary or even in 10 or 12. It was not, right? So since we are all mostly we've studied with Western education, so we tend to assimilate a lot from that. So and in India, it was not a bad thing to receive per se. It was a gift from God to receive something. It was sacred. It was auspicious. But the whole ideology of receiving came to be looked down upon, and this can be traced back to Nietzsche. And Nietzsche was the first person who sort of, not the first, but he cemented this idea that receiving is, thumbs down, right? His Ubermensch or his Superman, they create value, right? Nietzsche had the concept of Superman, again, which Hitler and all distorted. But it was obviously not, that is not what he was talking about. He was not talking about white supremacy, but a special breed of really educated, I can't read your thing, I'll read it later, okay? And so with Nietzsche, the concept of Superman came into being. These people, they did not need to receive, because they created everything. They created values, they created wealth, they created ideology. They would not receive it from someone. So this, receiving became like completely, the concept of receiving became distorted with Nietzsche, right? And this inclines, this movement of, moving away from receiving to creating your own value, creating your own worth, this movement away from this inclines one towards ego and destroys the organic role of a person within society and the cosmos at large. So we see Western society as primarily ego-based, right? I will take it, I will do it, I will think it, right? So this whole ideology stems from Nietzsche and his Superman, who refused to accept anything. How dare you offer me something? How dare you give me a gift? Or how dare you give me something? I have everything. You can go around looting countries, collecting all their wealth, putting it in your museum. But it's also okay to acknowledge that receiving is just as important as giving, right? So this sort of shifted our whole understanding of working with one another and created an ego-based society. An ego-based society, okay? Now, this concept of doing everything by yourself, it overrates the role of our achievements and work within our life. So, I did it myself. I didn't need any help. I am the person. I'm the Superman. I'm the Superwoman. This divorces you from nature. Okay, it makes you overrate your own accomplishments. It makes you demean your peers. Well, look, I got my life together. This person's not got thank you, their life together. Look at them. They need to receive. I don't need to receive. I have everything. No, that's where you're wrong. So this is something very important that we need to identify, that we need to work through this, okay? Purva Phalguni, its teachings are very simple. It teaches us that in leisure, in receiving, we truly begin to understand the human condition, which calls not for a resolve, but for a rescue. A rescue that can only be received. So, Purva Phalguni is not saying, go out there and be Nietzsche's Superman or Superwomen, but understand that the magic, the bliss of divine creation stems from receiving, right? When we receive, we understand, we sit together and we have a meal and somebody's serving us a meal and we sit and we consume the meal. Sometimes you look at our neighbor and you're like, it's really nice, right? And in temples, we still do this. We sit together on the floor and we serve food. Even in Langar, in Sikhism, when we sit together, And I've done many langars in my life. I've served food at langars. It's a very, very sacred process. Whether you're serving langar and you're giving, you feel like a mother. You're feeding all these children. And when you're eating, you feel like a child that your mom's serving you food. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, okay? So this divine rescue that is called for today, this is the gift of Purva Phalguni, right? When we take by force what we should receive, it violates the divine vibration within us, right? Okay, there you have a candy in your hand, right? And I'm like, I want that candy, I want that candy. And instead of asking you, I just snatch the candy from your hand and I begin to eat it. And then the person's taken my candy. What happened? It violated my divine vibration, because maybe all I needed to do was ask you that, hi, can you share that with me? Can I have half? Or can I have a piece, please? I'm really hungry. Or I really feel like eating that. It looks so nice. And maybe you would give me a piece willingly. And thankfully, of course, yes, please take a piece. And I would receive it and you would get it. But no, I go there and I snatch it out of your hand and I eat it. Yeah, you lost the candy, but what I lost was a piece of divinity within me. I lost that divine vibration for a second, you know, and I I spiraled downwards in my vibration. All I needed to do was ask you that, may I please get a piece of your candy? And you're like, hey, yeah, of course, please take that. And we both would be sitting under any tree and having the candy together, right? So never take by force that you could receive willingly, right? So let us abandon our dependence upon dry reason. Let us not sin against leisure. Let us abstain from acedia, which is Greek for instrumental reasoning. You know, dry, calculated, left brain thinking. Let us abstain from that. Okay? Dry reason is not going to reveal the fundamental mysteries of the universe. Believe me, it won't. Let us now define leisure, so it becomes clearer for those people who don't know exactly what leisure is. I mean, I don't know how anybody can not know what leisure is, but let's do that anyways. Leisure is an attitude of mind and a condition of the soul that fosters a capacity to receive the reality of the world. Okay, so this is something we all need to by heart, actually memorize. Leisure is an attitude of mind and a condition of the soul that fosters a capacity to receive the reality of the world. So we need to sit down in leisure and contemplate about the world. And, you know, have nice gifts come to us from the universe so you can feel satiated, and we can create from a place of leisure. But that's what leisure brings. That's what Purva Phalguni teaches us. Now, leisure is the first foundation of culture. I mean, I come from a land which is very rich in culture. Thank you. So, we were very leisurely people, you know. We're not running the rat race round and round. The Vedic culture was very leisurely culture, you know. We had we had the nauticals, we had the mandirs, people got together. It was a leisurely world, okay, the Indus Valley civilization. Now, Purva Phalguni has a lot to do with culture. Okay, leisure is the first foundation of culture. Don't forget that. And Purva Phalguni, who, you know, this Nakshatra teaches us leisure, has a lot to do with culture. Now symbols. 2 front legs of a bed. The 2 back legs are Uttara Phalguni, right? And second symbol, swinging hammock. Ah, I love a good hammock. I mean, who doesn't, right? And a couch. The third symbol is a couch. Beautiful. Now, Purva Phalguni, like I said, the front 2 legs of the cot. Uttara Phalguni, 2 back legs. Bhaga rules Purva Phalguni. Aryaman rules Uttara Phalguni. Now, so what do we do on a bed? Now, who's going to put their hands up and tell me what do we do on a bed? Can anybody tell me? My cat is about to start grooming himself near my camera and disrupt my whole life. But I'm not going to do that. Let him do that. Okay. So, who can tell me? Oh yeah. I have my ascendant and my Venus in Purva Phalguni, and I know a thing or two about leisure and receiving too. So, what do we do on a bed, people? Yeah, what do we do on a hammock? What do we do on a couch? Who can tell me this? What do we do on these things? Chill, we make love, we make babies, Prajana Nishakti, right? We contemplate, we create, or we rest and become rejuvenated. And remember, Prajanana Shakti is the culmination of the sexual act into a fetus, right? So again, procreation, marriage, all those motifs come to life. Now, I just said all that, and now we must understand. Yeah. Totally. I get that. Sleep, yes. We do need to sleep, yes, on the bed. Absolutely correct. Okay, now, we said all of that. We said that we need to do, we make love, we chill, we watch movies, Netflix and chill right now. I do that on my bed. I am not on my couch. I'm back on the bed with Netflix. If I do, I don't get the time because sadly, my life has become so hectic that I actually don't have much time for leisure, and I miss that. I miss just having days free when I don't have to do anything. I don't have the leisure to do that. I wish I will soon, maybe, who knows. I am waiting for that gift and I'm sure it'll come. So, now the motivation of this nakshatra is karma, right? So that's why, yes, we do sleep, but motivation of this nakshatra is karma. What is karma? Karma is passion, desire. Artha, kama, dharma, moksha. Told you every nakshatra has a purpose, a motivation, shall we call it. So, Purva Phalguni's motivation is karma. Now, many people translate it to lust. Lust, no. Karma is not lust. Okay? In its most pejorative sense, it can be construed as lust, but it's so much more than that. Mata Durga is called Kameshwari, So she's full of calm, full of desire. Only then can she become Unmukhi and create this world, Yes, creative power, the passion. Because I've been in the film world for a long time, and I met a very powerful director once, and he told me that I make films because I have this fire in my belly. And I was really young, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. The fire in my belly. And it's so Leo, right? That fire, that fixed fire that repeatedly burns in your belly, right? To get you to do. That's karma. The fire in the belly. To want to make films, to want to sing, to want to dance, to want to make love, to want to create something. That is karma. So the motivation of, I think so. I think Madonna has her moon as well as her ascendant in Purva Phalguni, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure because I mean I have not looked at Madonna's Vedic chart. I think I did once, that's it. So I have no idea. Could be, yeah. I do remember something like that in the Dennis Harkness absolutely, you know, unnecessary book. I found nothing in that book actually. Did not even break it down into padas. So let me take you on this ride of Purva. Yes, that fire is burning. Not only inside Purva Phalguni natives, but inside all of us. All of us. Okay, so now you see why we tend to make love under Purva Phalguni's influence. It's because of this karma. Making love is one way that the fires are good. When Shiva Shakti are in Methun, worlds, universes come into being. So remember that, okay? This is, and making love could be on a spiritual way too, you know. Like, I make love to these videos. I make love to astrology. So yeah, and I'm a Purva Phalguni native, so I know a thing or two about that. Now, on the topic of making love, we have Venus or Shukra as main planetary ruler. So you put in the oomph of Leo and you put in this desire of Venus, and you have this motivation that is karma, and Purva Phalguni is too hot, right? Now, Venus, so we release Venus here, right? So if you are a Purva Phalguni native, and if you're looking to appease Venus, get some Venus magic in your life, make some more money, you know, make some babies, get rid of any kind of diseases. This is my baby boy. This is my little tiger. This is my Damru. His name is Damru and he's huge. Okay, again, now let me keep him here. I don't know if he'll stay. But let me give you some mantras of Venus. Om Shum Shukraya Namaha. Om Shum Shukraya Namaha. Om Shum Shukraya Namaha. Om Dram Dream Drum Sa Shukraya Namaha. Om Dram Dream Drum Sa Shukraya Namaha. Om Ashwatwajaya Vidmahe Dhanurahastaya Dhimahi Tanno Shukra Prachodayat. Shukra teaches us romantic games, amorous games, music, drama, and I would love to tell. Yes, so many people have asked me that. But you know, I just don't have time to come and chit chat. I want to make a video every day. And I don't get the chance to do that. Because I have work, like endless work. But yeah, I will someday. You know, I had so many, like women were asking me for makeup videos. I still get requests. My own horoscope. So much. Anyway, I'm just, let me stick to this. So now Venus teaches us amorous games. Shukra teaches us amorous games. Venus is Shukra. Right now, do you know that Purva Phalguni gives one the 8 superhuman faculties, the power of obtaining everything. So under, if you're making magic under the moon in Purva Phalguni, you can get Ashtasiddhi, okay? And you can obtain everything. Now some of you know that I do Chishta Ganapati sadhana, and Shukra himself, Venus himself did Uchishta Ganapati sadhana, and only then could he become who he is, right? Now, so it gives us Ashtasiddhis, the 8 superhuman faculties, okay, and it introduces us to the right people. It has an extensive reach, right? So if you're a Purva Phalguni native and you're doing your thing right, and you got a well-placed Venus, and you got like no malefics in that first house, or if it's say your moon sign, you don't have any malefics aspecting it. Excuse me, aspects are squares, by the way, for people who do Western astrology. Now, it helps to arrive at the right destination, okay, and gives keen perception, and with it huge profits and gains. So Purva Phalguni, if you're playing it right, you are going to gain. And if Purva Phalguni falls in the right part of your natal chart, gains galore. Now, there is an inner reservoir of happiness with Purva Phalguni, right? No, it's very complex because Moon and Venus are not friends. So yeah, and it is combust. However, the Sun and the Moon are friends. So a lot of things needs to be looked at. Okay, however, that Moon and Venus are not friends. So yeah, that's complicated. Now, you have to see where your Venus is placed. You have to see where your Sun is placed. Now, I told you it gives a huge profits, right? In a reservoir of happiness. Me too, I feel this in my life. Lots of things have happened, ups and downs and problems and, a lot of complications, yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Alcohol as well. Alcohol as well. Yes, thank you, Hemant, for being so kind as to offer to read my chart. Thank you so much. Please drop me an email if you're serious about that. Now, again, I completely forgot. Spirit of discovery and power of augmentation. To augment something, to ground something, okay? Now, as I was saying, I have this inner reservoir of happiness. And a lot of people have asked me, where does it come from? I mean, you have one problem after the other bombarding you. How do you deal with it? How are you always happy? Many students have asked me this too, because they meet me for workshops and I've been working the whole day and they're like, how are you so happy, ma'am? Like, what happened? And I am like, Purva Phalguni, that Purva Phalguni happened to me. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now, spirit of discovery and power of augmentation, to augur something, to anchor something, right? Even the bed by itself is pretty anchored, right? Otherwise, you could lie on it, it would fall. Profits from lending money. Profits from lending money. But don't go around, lending money and thinking you only make profits. Be intelligent about who and how and why you lend your money. And if you're doing it right, you're going to make so much money, okay? Shukra gives a sense of aesthetics, right? So the way you dress, if you're a Purva Phalguni native, people are telling me, wow, you dress so well. And I could be just wearing a kurti and a jeans. And you're like, wow, you dress so well. You're like, really? Or I go to the temple and I'm wearing just a cotton sari, right? And you're like, wow, I love your sari. It's so beautiful. I'm like, okay. So the Purva Phalguni natives, the way they dress, it's that Shukra energy, It just comes through. It just comes through. The food they eat. And I became a vegan. And I'm really careful about the food I put in my mouth, right? Organic and the kind of salts, the kind of oils I use. I don't use refined oil. So all of that, the food we eat is super important to Purva Phalguni natives. Super important. Okay? They seek pleasure, harmony, balance, and agreement. Absolutely right. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? But we, Purva Phalguni natives, we tend to really like to curl up our toes on that hammock or on that couch and be like, oh, let's get some nice food. I'm not a heavy drinker. I barely drink. So, Purva Phalguni natives are like drinking, like, let's get that booze. Me, I take thumbs up sometimes, and I'm like, I don't want to have aerated drinks. Never, I gave it up. But then I tend to have thumbs up sometimes, or a cherry cola or something, or a jaljeera cola. Shukra teaches us one lesson. Duality hides divinity. And because it is a female planet, it represents women. Okay? As stated in Devi Mahatmayam, all women in this world are forms of the goddess. All women in this world are forms of the goddess. Every woman is Shakti. And I think Purva Phalguni natives know that. I mean, whether they are men or women, they tend to like women. They tend to just like the feminine energy, Purva Phalguni natives, right? Purva Phalguni is about allowing one's own beauty to flourish. One's own beauty. We all are beautiful, all of us. And we have this really unique way about us. We are of course all one at the end of it. But when we come as distinct bodies, distinct, we incarnate as different people. We look at it, we all have something beautiful to offer. The way we look is indeed beautiful. Every face on this planet has beauty. Every face has beauty. Okay? So Purva Phalguni allows this beauty to flourish. So doing beauty treatments and doing that Om Shrim Yam mantra that I told you. Yes, please do email me, Hemant. You sound like a friend I could I could have. So please, yes. So if you're doing like any kind of beauty spell, or if you're doing like I taught you Om Shrim Yam when you wash your face, you can chant on the water Om Shrim Yam and wash your face. Or even on, you can use rice water, where you soak rice and you take it out. And then all you need to say is Hasti Pisashi Likhe Swaha 27 times before you go for meetings or dates, or if you're getting married, and you wash your face with that rice water, you will look impeccable. And of course, Yam, Sham, Reem, Cream, Shrim, Fat Swaha is another mantra that I've taught to, say it 7 times. Yam, Sham, Rim, Cream, Shrim, Fat Swaha. You can do that on water and 7 times and wash your face. Right? So any of these 3 things you can do. Hasti, Pisashi, Likhe, Swaha. Very powerful. You can do that. And do this when the moon is in Purva Phalguni, and you will see beauty enhancement. Okay? Increase of beauty. Now, Purva Phalguni is about dignity of one's own being. Love yourself no matter what. You're not ugly, you're not unattractive. So what if you have some gray hair? I do too. Right? So what if your skin has some acne or pores? Real people have pores. Real people have acne, You're not film stars. So it's okay to embrace that. Even film stars have it. But they just, makeup. I mean, they have makeup artists, horror professionals. And of course, a ton of softwares and applications to make them look good. So always value your inherent beauty. Have dignity, in the way you look, in the way you hold yourself, what you believe about yourself. Change the toxic self-talk completely. And Purva Phalguni, under the moon in Purva Phalguni, that will greatly be beneficial for you if you're trying to bring about this kind of change in your life. Now, if that state is not achieved, then one cannot help anyone. Because, if you're not have dignity in yourself, if you don't find beauty in yourself, how will you go out there and find beauty in somebody else? Or how will you respect somebody else if you don't respect yourself? It's a cycle, honestly. It goes hand in hand. It's complementary. Okay, it's inclusive in the ideology. In the contextual understanding, it is inclusive. Purva Phalguni teaches us to allow ourselves to be beautiful and see the beauty everywhere. You know, even when I dress up, I'm like taking selfies, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. So I see myself not as, oh, I'm beautiful, you know, I'm the most beautiful woman out there, oh, I'm so beautiful. No, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful, that was nice makeup, I did nice. And then when I see somebody else doing it, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful, right? So it's a cycle. Believe me, it's complementary. You cannot subtract this. You have dignity in yourself, you have beauty in yourself, you see that out in the world. But sweet-seeking Shukra brings addictions of all kinds. Sweets, alcohol, drugs, and debts. Gambling. I don't gamble for one. I don't know anything about cards or gambling. But Purva Phalguni natives love to gamble. Stay away. I mean, if you're winning and if you're doing good, great. But I don't know. I find gambling quite risky, right? So addictions of all kinds and debts. Debts. Now, the Vedic mantra for Shukra is Himakundra Mrinalabham Daityanam Paramam Gurum Sharva Shastra Pravaktaram Bhargavam Pranamamyaham. So Shukra is the guru of the demons. So that's something which I will discuss in great detail. Demons. Purva Phalguni natives seek pleasure instead of home-based routines. They don't like, yes, exactly, true. They don't like home-based routines, okay, like, okay, comes 9 o'clock every day, have breakfast, nah, have lunch together, okay, some days, but not every day. Sit and have dinner at the dinner table, don't put your elbows there, blah, blah. Purva Phalguni natives don't care for all of this. They want pleasure. They want intimacy. They want that fire of Leo, being blown by Venus. They love nature and tend to have pleasing children. They have beautiful children, actually, Purva Phalguni natives. I will make a video on Pitru Paksha. I may do it today. If I have time, I have got content. I do want to make a video on Pitru Paksha, actually. Pitru Paksha has started. Culminates on the 6th with Sarva Pitru Amavasya. Okay. Now, the sacred tree of Purva Phalguni is Palash. In Bengali, we say Palash, known as the flame of the forest. And their dosha is Pitta. We used to say it's like Krishna Chura Palash. It's beautiful. The flowers are like little fiery things, little fireballs. It's a beautiful, beautiful tree, Palash. So eating correctly, because your dosh is Pitta. Okay, so acid, burping, all kinds of Pitta related doshas. Okay, alkaline, charcoal tablets, yashti madhu. If you have too much Pitta dosha, and I've seen Purva Phalguni natives also have dental problems sometimes. So if you do that, if you have that, especially if you've got a Saturn there somewhere, oil swishing can be greatly effective, very greatly effective. Eat correctly, okay? to correct problems. If you're having any problems and you are a Purva Phalguni native, then you need to worship the Shivlingam. Shivlingam. Om Namah Shivaya. Or Reem Ram Namah Shivaya. Reem Ram, Reem is Bhuvaneshwari beach. It's also the solar beach. Reem Ram Namah Shivaya. This will add to the solar impulse of Leo. And Namah Shivaya, this is the Linga Mudra. And you can sit in meditation in the Linga Mudra and say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. But not in Vaikhari, as in not allowed. Japa happens in the mind, in Pasyanti and in Madhyama and Pasyanti. Okay? So all in the mind. Okay? Like, you can whisper it. But don't do Vaikhari loud chanting. Okay? Now also invoking Jupiter brings good luck. So Thursdays become really important. And Jupiter's Om Gram Reem Grom Sa Guruvye Namaha Devatanam Rishi Nancha Gurum Karaka Sannivam Vandya Bhutam Trilokesham Tam Namami Brihaspatim. Okay, this is Jupiter's mantras, and so beautiful to actually have Jupiter here, because this is the birth nakshatra of Jupiter. This is Guru's birth nakshatra, Purva Phalguni, and that's why we know Jupiter is kind of like pleasure seeking, right? Pleasure seeking. And also worship Lakshmi. Lakshmi beaches Shreem. So Om Shreem, Om Shreem, Om Shreem. Okay, there are many other mantras. If I start on the mantras, it'll take me a long time, so I'm not going to get there. Valerie Roebuck says, fulfillment and cleansing, good luck, well-being, and amorous pleasure. Energy, we know, Venus, who rules Purva Phalguni, plus Sun, which is Leo. Now, Venus and the Sun are enemies. So that is, you can do, as I said, you can do anywhere. You start off with, I'll make a Pitru Paksha video for you, okay? So you can, Pindadan is very important. Do Pindadan on the 6th. And if you can't do mantra every day, if you find a secluded place in your house, koi bhi balcony or somewhere like that, you can do it. Terrace maybe you can do. Banyan tree ke niche you can do. So I'll try to make you a Pitru Paksha. I have a class, but after that, before that or after that, once I fit in, I'll try to make it for you, okay? But just remember the 4 mantras. Go back to Ashlesha, go back to Magha. Both nakshatras I've mentioned, I've written them down also. Okay? Now, I told you, Purva Phalguni gives Bhaga Daivata, okay, or luck. Luck of demons, they call it. Shukra is Guru of demons. हाँ पूजा घर में भी कर सकती हो पूजा, मगर ये जो पितृ पक्ष का काम है वो हम मतलब पूजा घर से बाहर ऑल्टर बना के करते हैं. तो बेस्ट है कि बाहर में कहीं ऑल्टर बना के करो, कि अगर एक ही दिन काम करोगी, बहुत लोग मतलब पूरा 16 दिन काम करते हैं, अगर एक ही दिन काम करना है तो वो सर्वपितृ अमावस्या के दिन ही करना, ठीक है? तो yeah, I told you that Purva Phalguni gives luck of demons, and Shukra is Guru of demons, right? Now, the nakshatra is Ugra. Ugra. I told you, diabolic, like dangerous, sharp, Ugra. And that stems from the nature of demons, because Guru was not Guru, sorry, Shukra. Shukra is the Guru of demons, not Guru as in Jupiter. I'm talking about Shukra, Venus, is the Guru of demons, right? So this Ugra energy of Purva Phalguni can be seen through this, through the demonic energy. These natives love glamour and celebrity status. They love it. They are born for the limelight. Like, give it to me, I'm there. You know, if I'm the YouTuber and I want everybody to see me, I'm not really happy with just 400-500 views. I want 4 million views, right? Okay? However, Sun and Venus are mortal enemies. As I just said 2 minutes ago, Venus is all about pleasure and comfort, and sexual love. But Sun demands love as truth. Sun's like, what? You know, forget it. Love is true. Where is that energy? Now, the dichotomy here of Shukra and Venus's energy is experienced as a volatile agreement between the two adversities. So now the whole energy of this will depend on where your Venus is placed, where your Surya is placed. Understand how it's going to play out. The right blend gives generosity and I don't know what the hell is that. Gives generosity and philosophical awareness with intense sexual pleasure and wicked fun. Yeah, Purva Phalguni natives can be wicked. Now they don't go to extremes if it's well balanced. But this enmity between Shukra and Sun, that can be complicating. Okay, that can be pretty complicated. They refrain from narcissism, which is very viable for Purva Phalguni natives, narcissism and vanity. And the shadow side, of course, is laziness, leisure, laziness. Keep that in mind, distinction. Entitlement. Please, yes. So glad you could make it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Shadow side is laziness, entitlement, and consumerism. Mindless consumption. I want new clothes. I want new bag. I want new purse. You know, I want to get my gel nails done every week. Right? So remember that. Hey, stop! So remember that. Loves partying, seeking luxury and glamour. This is all good. Healthy partying helps everybody. Takes the edge off. Gets us relaxed. Gets us happy. But again, mindless consumption, partying and just getting drunk and getting wasted, having an accident. So many things can happen, right? If Sun and Venus are giving the right rays, then Purva Phalguni natives seek what is subtle and refined and age gracefully, ultimately becoming connoisseurs. So, like they age beautifully, they look beautiful as they're aging, Keanu Reeves, I hope, has something in Purva Phalguni because he's aged just impeccably. I don't know actually if he has anything in Purva Phalguni. People say, okay, Madonna has aged nicely. I don't think so. I think Madonna looks creepy. Doesn't look nice. But Keanu Reeves has just taken that aging gracefully and given it a new definition. And I'm crazy about Keanu Reeves, and I cannot imagine how humble he is. How amazing he is, just amazing. Maybe you guys know if Keanu Reeves has something in Purva Phalguni, right? Let me know. Another thing about Purva Phalguni natives, they're never alone, always in a long-term relationship, and often land themselves a decent trust fund. Look at me, I have never been single since I was practically dating. Then I sort of broke up with a few toxic people, and the man I married and the man I have my child with is someone I've known for over 18 and a half, 19 years almost. So, sometimes I don't even know what it is to be single. That's something Purva Phalguni natives will well identify with. No trust fund though, but you can't get everything right. Okay, they like to engage in human affairs. And their gana or temperament is Manushya. And Purva Phalguni natives, they foster many people. Look at me, I feed so many animals. Not just the rescue animals in my house, but also animals down on the road. You know? They hate corruption as such. Okay? They hate corruption and try to prevent others from such ugliness. The secret of Purva Phalguni is that on one hand, it symbolizes desire, and on the other, desirelessness. I know it's crazy, but that is the true secret of Purva Phalguni. If they have unfulfilled desires, then they cannot achieve its antithesis, right? Desire, desirelessness. If you're full of desires, if what my Guru Parampara has always taught, what Tantra teaches us, is that if you have desires, unfulfilled desires, all in your bosom, you can never experience desirelessness. For you can say, oh, I gave it all up, I'm going to be a sannyasi, I gave it all up. You had nothing to give up. If you're Bill Gates and you say, I gave it all up to become a sannyasi, okay, you don't have to be Bill Gates, but say you are settled. You've done what you needed to do. You have the money that you needed, more than what you may need. You have had all the love, the sex, everything. And then you walk away. It makes sense. You've never had sex. I'm walking away from sex. Does that make sense? No. Desire, desirelessness. If you do not, expunge yourself of all the desires, how will you walk towards desirelessness? It's not possible. It's something to think about. This is a secret of Purva Phalguni. So it's best to experience all desires so one might be free of them. Okay, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what alcohol tastes like, and I was like that for pretty much all my life. I hated alcohol, but I finally tasted it, and I was like, okay, I didn't miss much. So literally, I can safely say that, oh, I don't want it. No thanks, because I know what it is. I'm not, somebody can say, oh, you don't know what alcohol tastes like. How can you say it's bad? I'm not saying it's bad. It just doesn't work for me. Okay, so the two poles, desire, desirelessness. How will you walk towards desirelessness if you've not experienced all the desires, right? For you shall then remain enmeshed in flesh. The only desire that should remain is love as truth, which is what Surya brings to the table, the sun brings to the table. Love as truth. As the ultimate desire that Shukra should hold in Purva Phalguni. Cutting down all that ugra tendencies, all the demonic nature, and understanding love as truth. Right? Now, health is robust for most natives, but can get skin problems. Lips, I've seen Purva Phalguni natives implanting too much silicone in their lips and making those plump lips. It's okay if you want to do it, but you don't need to. You have beautiful lips. Addictions, heart trouble, blood circulation, venereal disease, accidents with fire. Now, when moon is in this nakshatra, chant Om Cham, Om Cham, Om Cham 108 times. Wear light pastel shades. Now, orientation of Purva Phalguni is Adhomukhi, looking downwards. So, all kinds of, psychological work can be done, digging, burrowing, Adhomukhi. So, nakshatra looks downwards. Okay. Orientation Adhomukhi, caste Brahmin, Guna Rajas. Animal female rat. Guna, I told you Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. So this nakshatra is Rajas. Color red, as I am wearing for you, this red cotton sari. Seed sounds. Padawan, mo. Pada 2, ta. Pada 3, ti. Pada 4, tu. So, 9 is the lucky number. Bird is an eagle. Body parts, sex organs, lips, right hand. And I have varicose veins and whatnot in my right hands. I've also got this carpal tunnel syndrome because I tend to type a lot. It's complicated with my right hand. But yeah, activity is balanced. Element is apas or water. Directionality north. Now the astronomy, one of my favorite parts. 2 stars, Zosma, which is Delta Leonis, or Al-Zubra. Second, Shaitan. Shaitan sounds like Shaitan or the devil. Shaitan, Theta Leonis or Coxer. Zosma is the back of the lion and is brighter than Coxer. And Zosma in Arabic astrology is known as the star of egotism and self-indulgence. Shaitan or Coxer in Egypt was called Mesyi. Okay, means the anointed one. From this, the word Messiah comes into being. So yeah, these natives can have some kind of Messiah complex. Okay, Coxer is also called Al-Zubra, and both share the manzil Al-Haratan. Robson says of Purva Phalguni. A severe asterism, I was saying austerism. A severe, why? It's Ugra. Severe asterism belonging to Brahmin caste. Favorable for acts of disgrace, destruction, deceit, imprisonment, beating, burning, and poisoned when containing the moon. Those born on the lunar day will be fond of women, dancing, art, trade, will remain youthful, and will deal in natural produce. Amazing. With the moon year at birth, natives will be generous, handsome, submissive. Sukshma Sharir. Yes, I know about Sukshma Sharir. Yes. Submissive, of wandering habits and good speech. Rules uninhibited houses and right arm. Okay, uninhibited houses. I have always been fascinated by abandoned houses. Female natives are divas, right? Madonna, I guess somebody said Madonna has something here. Very beautiful and in need of constant attention. Please, subscribers, give me hits. Please, subscribers, see how beautiful I am. Look, I took like 15 minutes to put on my makeup. I haven't botched it maybe, but please see how beautiful I am, please. Because I'm in constant need of adoration being a Purva Phalguni native. Please, please. And I mean, if I have more subscribers, then maybe I can do the diva gig. But still a long way to get there. Oval face, well-proportioned features, strong character. I can vouch for that. Strong character. Hospitable, social, interested in the occult, I make a living out of it. Likes to sew or embroider. Funnily, I don't like to sew or embroider, but this is something I learned as a kid. Crazy. Males are more physical than mental, healthy, not that stressed out because they are impulsive. They don't like to think much. They're just impulsive. They act. The males. They love sport. Playing, watching, talking about it. Males of Purva Phalguni love sports. Both males and females have attractive personality, stout body with mixed color, frequent sweating, snubbed nose, dental diseases. As I was just saying, dental diseases can happen. They adore the mother. They adore the mother, which is true. I do adore my mother. I do have my complications with her, but I adore my mother. Trouble with the opposite sex. Now you tell me. Yes. Yeah, we know that one. Okay. Now, suffer from poverty and hunger. Becomes wealthy later on in life. I'm counting on it. Anger, lives away from parents. And I've lived away from my parents for very long now. Padawan. Before I go, we break down the Padas. Padawan, Leo Navamsa, ruled by the sun. So the energy becomes Venus, Shukra who rules Purva Phalguni, plus Sun because it's inside real Leo, plus Sun because this is Leo Navamsa. So this first Pada and my ascendant, you guessed it right, is in Padawan. And I have that poor son of mine in the 12th house. So yeah, a lot of 12th house significations and that Pushya Nakshatra coming out. Now, Venus, Sun. Some of the traits that we come with: courage, primal intelligence. I spoke to you many times about how Sun is the primal intelligence. Mercury more the logical, deductive component, but Sun being that primordial source of light within us, you know. Good spouse. Ethical, yes, very ethical, moralistic. Mentoring abilities. And the interesting part about Padawan is no planets are exalted in Padawan. Although we see, of course, Saturn, because it's that Leo Navamsa, could be in problem here. Saturn anyway is a problem in Leo. Pada 2, Virgo Navamsa, ruled by Mercury. Purva Phalguni, ruled by Venus, Shukra. Inside real Leo, ruled by Surya, Sun. And Pada 2, ruled by Mercury, Virgo Kanya Navamsa. Alright? So here the blend is Venus, Sun, Mercury. So, complicated. And this is where I have my Venus. Oh my God, could my Venus not be here and be in Pada 3? That would be the Libra Navamsa, the Vargotama Pada. No, my Venus decides to be bam in its fall Navamsa. Great. So we have Mercury is a ruler of Virgo Navamsa. Ruler as well as exaltation. 15 degrees is exaltation of Mercury. And Venus is in fall. Like people who have Venus here, like me, yeah, complicated. And first house, so wow. I just wish my Venus was in Pada 3. But no, it's in Pada 2. Bam. Virgo Navamsa in fall. Discipline. Something we like, you know. Pada 2 people, Pada 2 Purva Phalguni. Problems in love. Yes. Problems in love. Okay. Complications in love. Spouse can be cold. You know, taking away Venus significations. So that could happen. Practical, balanced side of Purva Phalguni. I think this, you know, Purva Phalguni is not very practical, not very, you know, it's a balanced nakshatra, yeah, but this practical side of Purva Phalguni, I think, comes from this Pada 2, Kanya Navamsa. Okay? Now, easily stressed, yes, I am. Hardworking. Writers, I love writing, and you can go to my blog if you haven't. I've got thousands of articles there, okay? I was also a screenwriter, and I've written for some of the biggest newspapers around, like the Times and all, okay? So, yeah, writing. And then Venus, mine, is right there. And my Mercury is in Magha. Wow. And then Mercury is in infant Mercury. 3 degrees. Infant Mercury. Yeah, you keep saying that. I just said my Venus is in the Virgo Navamsa. So I just wish my Venus was in Libra Navamsa, honestly. Now we get to Libra Navamsa Pada 3. Okay? Ruled by Venus. And the best part about Pada 3, it is a Pushkar Navamsa. Highly benevolent. Highly benevolent Pushkar Navamsas. I'm not going to now start talking about what Vargotama or what Pushkar Navamsas are. Please Google it up. Sun is debilitated here. Saturn is exalted. So Saturn over here in Pada 3. Great. My Saturn could have been here. My Venus could have been here. No. My Saturn had to be Magha and my Venus had to be right at the end of that Pada 2, right almost entering that Pada 3. I just wish my Venus was in Vargotama in this Pushkar Navamsa, honestly. Okay, skilled homemakers, something I'm not. But skilled homemakers, teachers, very artistic people, ritualists, I'm not. Many responsibilities, pain in knees and teeth. Aggressive, but without sorrow. So they get quick angry and quick, they forget. After all, it's a double Venus because in this Pushkar Navamsa, we've got Venus ruling Purva Phalguni, but Sun ruling, Surya ruling Leo, and again we have Venus in Navamsa rulership. So, yes. Theft in the house, but you get back stolen artifacts. Thank you. In closing years of life will be confined in solitary place. Pada 3, guys. Yes. Okay. Now Pada 4. Scorpio Navamsa, right? And here we've got Venus, ruler of Purva Phalguni. We've got Sun, ruler of Leo. And we've got Mars, ruler of Scorpio Navamsa. Pada 4. Scorpio, who's exalted? Come on. Ketu is exalted. Rahu is in fall. Moon, of course. Moon is debilitated highly in this Pada. So having Moon in Pada 4, complicated. Career in politics, okay? Excuse me, you have to see the placement of Mars as well. Creative performance. Gambling. Here I was just talking to you about deaths. Scorpio Navamsa, guys, this could be you. Definitely not the Mercury ruled Virgo Navamsa, guys. Could be the Pushkar Navamsa Libras and this Scorpio Navamsa. These guys, you could be gamblers, celebrities. This Pada 4 guys, total celebrities. Fond of violent exercise, there's kickboxing and jabbing and, some kind of violent exercise. Remember, Pada 3, Pada 4, both of you. End of life in isolation, total solitude. Okay, now, Om Ashwadhwajaya Vidmahe Dhanurhastaya Dhimahi Tanno Shukra Prachodayata. Wear copper because the Persian, Arabic, European people believe it has to do with Venus. We don't. We believe it's the sun. And in Jyotish, we believe silver has to do with Venus. So, copper and silver. You can just combine them like this. Okay? Remember, not the 5th of November, but remember the solution to a problem comes not while we are working at it. It comes in a state of relaxation. Like that guy, he said Eureka, and he understood water dispersal and buoyancy. and some Greek scientist, and he was like, he got into the tub, and then he understood water displacement and buoyancy, and he said eureka, and he ran down the streets of Greece. So something like that, even Newton, he was sitting right under an apple tree, all like, oh, let me num on my apple, and was he numbing on an apple? I don't think so. Maybe he was reading, and then bam, an apple falls on his head, and he's like, gravity, right? So remember that. State of leisure, state of relaxation. Urtha Ganapati is the 16th of 32 Ganapatis, right? And he is associated with Purva Phalguni. Urtha means elevated. Urdha Ganapati. Tantric Ganesha, like Uchishta Ganapati, this is a Tantric Ganesha with Shakti on the left, and he's golden hued like Leo. Strong sense of grandiosity, like pompous, grandiose, showy, lavish, squandering types, Purva Phalguni natives, all the Padas. Feeling of superiority, like, hey, look at me, I'm great, I'm the best. There could be some Purva Phalguni natives could indulge in black magic and dark tantra or sorcery. Interestingly, Bhaga is also another name for the vagina. Yoni as an ultimate symbol of creation and power of nature. Arjuna, none other than Krishna and Arjuna, his birth moon is Purva Phalguni. Keep the word leisure in mind. Leisure, L, Leo, L. For without leisure, there would be no religion, no philosophy, no aesthetic, no sports. Nothing would be in existence but just endless toil. To what? So that was my breakdown of Purva Phalguni Nakshatra ruled by Shukra. And if I have time, I don't even know what the time is. I did intend to just close this video by by an hour, but I continued because I was having a good time talking to you guys. I really like doing YouTube videos, and I want to please, I want to do this every day. Okay? Maybe some of you are gonna send me love, the Purva Phalguni way, so I could receive this love from you, and I'll be like, now I can do videos every single day. Okay, so next video, Uttara Phalguni, ruled by Ariman, and many more details coming up. And of course, I'm just going to be doing so many videos shortly. Once I get my things together, I will. So thank you so much for being here and listening to this exposition. It has been so great. Just feel amazing. And see you soon. Bye.